Welcome back. This is TV3Newday. It's time now for the big issue. And joining me this morning, I have lawyer George Opare Ado. He's the National Youth Organizer of the NDC. Question is he going to be running for the same position or would he want to be General Secretary? Which other position is there that he's eyeing? Good morning.
Morning, Bella.
How are you doing?
How
are you doing?
I'm very well.
We haven't seen you in a while.
And we've been around.
The last time I saw you were in some other, I think it was a radio station or so. You were speaking to someone in the background, but you were showing in the camera. I think you have seen it.
Yeah.
Good to have you in the studios, by the way.
I went to meet him.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, also joining us this morning is Mr. Alfred Thompson. He's a former former Deputy MD for National Investment Bank. Good morning.
Good morning, Bella.
How are you doing?
Very well.
You've been MIA. What have you been up to?
Everything.
Everything.
You're
traveling.
running for regional chairman.
Everything.
Why are you bringing? He said I should leave you there, but you're bringing up his own.
Mine is not yet up. His just ended, so we can talk
You
about
are still
it.
in the system.
But I'm still
So we
incumbent.
need to know whether you are coming
No,
or
I'm still
not.
incumbent.
We need to know whether
the
you are
time is
coming
not
or
yet up. When the time
It
comes,
didn't
we will
favor
announce.
you, but it's all good.
It's good. The delegates decided on who they still wanted to lead the region, and I give thumbs up to Chairman Kutin. He did a good work, and he was maintained.
Yeah.
Mine was to bring the new phase, a new change, and everything. But they said, listen, man, you're still up there. Just hold it a bit for another 4 years.
Okay.
And I believe that what they said was final because it was an overwhelming victory.
Okay.
And I congratulate him for that. Last Sunday he did his Thanksgiving service, but unfortunately I was in Nigeria by then, so I couldn't attend.
So it wasn't
I wish
deliberate?
him well. No.
Okay.
I went to Nigeria for Paul's wedding.
I see.
You know, the Eagles, Paul Okocha.
Oh, okay.
He had his
Okay.
wedding over the weekend. So
Oh, I see.
yeah, we were there, and it was very, very lovely. Very
Anyway, so
touching.
that means that after 4 years, well, we'll find out if you still
Whether
will
I'll
be in
still
the
be
running.
there or
Okay.
not. Yes,
Well,
but we are here to help the country. For God, the country.
absolutely. Are we really helping the country? That's the question that many people are asking.
For
And the
God,
finance
the
minister
country.
is expected to make a presentation in Parliament today, Wednesday, June 2022. He's supposed to be responding to some 16 questions that were laid before him in Parliament by the minority. And, well, remember that last week, Thursday, he was supposed to have made an appearance in Parliament. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. And the Speaker was not too pleased about that. Let's take you back to what the Speaker had to say about the Finance Minister's decision to not appear in Parliament. We're told by the Majority Leader that it was because he had asked for more time to prepare to give answers to all the 16 questions that was asked. Let's hear the Speaker.
The Minister is not available today, we are told. And the Minister himself spoke to me why he's not available today. But before today, I had given a directive, and that directive was to the effect that the Minister should appear before this House to account for monies that we approved for him to use to lead the country as his ministry, for us to see how we could respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. And I did indicate that until that is done, a motion that requested the approval of this House for more money to be given him, that is his ministry, not him in person, for the purpose of COVID-19, be on the hold until he answers the questions, he responds to. I think that still holds. And I'll go further to say, until he goes through the accountability process, we will not take that motion. With respect to the questions, well, today he has another request before us. That will also be affected. Until he comes to respond to the questions and to submit the statement, giving explanation as to how that money has been applied, we will not entertain any business from that ministry. Mark my words.
Well, that's the Speaker, Right Honourable Alban Sumana Bagbin, and he says that if the Minister does not appear in Parliament to answer these questions, then they will not entertain him in terms of any other business that he would want to do with Parliament. And so this morning, or maybe later today, let's see if the finance minister would be there. Let's take a look at some of the questions that were posed by the minority, hoping that they would get some responses to. One of them would be the fact that they are asking for the finance minister. In fact, let me go through them. So it says that when the ministry will issue financial clearance to the Food and Agri Ministry to clear debts owed partners and suppliers of fertilizers. Secondly, what's the current status of funding for phase 2 of the Tema motorway? What are the interventions to halt increment in fuel prices? A very important issue that we'll be discussing further. Now, to also know how much has been invested in fighting COVID-19. Which companies were used as local transaction advisors and legal advisors for the 2021 Eurobond, and how much was paid to the individuals as individual companies? Okay, so how much government has realized from the Eurobond issued in 2021 and how much it has spent on fees and related roadshow expenses? How much revenue has been generated from the sale of power to neighboring countries? And I believe that there are more, but we'll leave it here. I mean, of course, asking questions about how much has been spent on COVID-19 so far. But with regards to the fuel conversation, which is one of the questions that has been posed to him, and we're hoping that he would answer, there was a statement that was put out, or in fact, an article that was put out by Bloomberg yesterday, and it reads, Ghana fuel shortage looms as central bank ration dollars. So it says that Ghana faces a looming fuel shortage as the central bank rations dollars after oil prices surged following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The monthly fuel imports bill for the West African nation jumped to $450 million in May from the $250 million in January, according to two people with knowledge of the matter. The central bank is only offering about $100 million in a month at its foreign exchange auctions, and licensed bulk distributors can no longer plug the shortfall in the black markets, the people said, asking not to be identified as the matter is in public. I'll start off with you. First of all, especially because we're told that the Bank of Ghana is rationing its dollars, and so if we don't take care, we're likely to face crisis. We're expecting the finance minister to respond to this, but I would like to hear from you on this matter. Are you worried?
Good morning, Bella, once again. And good morning, lawyer, the incoming youth organizer.
Incoming?
Yes, he's still incoming. Right now they are going for election, so he's incoming again. Or it's organizer, national organizer. National organizer, there are too many there.
I have not said
That's why when you
anything.
go there, it's a problem.
Is he not? He's gone beyond youth organizer,
Oh,
so
he can still
maybe
go. He has 2 more years. He can go whilst he's there. Once he changes to 40 plus, he will be ready.
I have not said anything.
Don't say anything. I'm just doing the campaign for you. Bella, as I told you, I was in Nigeria over the weekend, and the queues, the stations that did not have fuel and everything, I was quite shocked. So if we are seeing this, I wouldn't be too shocked, because I asked myself, Nigeria is one of the biggest producers of oil in Africa. And if they, at this point, are queues, and there are certain places when you go there, there's no fuel at all in the stations, then Ghana, who just started not long ago, and we are facing all these international crises, definitely we should be expecting something like that. But we are hoping that this week, as the finance minister meets Parliament, he's going to come out with some measures that you are putting in place to make sure that we don't face shortage. Because so far we've held the fort very well, thanks to the president and his team. It's been a tough year since the Russia-Ukraine war started, but we've been able to hold it. We've been able to hold the fort. I wouldn't say it's the best, but I would say it's better than it could have gone. Because when you look and when you are deep in it and you realize the situation on the ground, you have nothing but to give hope to your people. Now listen, it's tough, but we'll make it together. It's not easy, but we'll cross it together. You don't need to throw your hands in despair and let your people go haywire that, hey, what is happening? We are all suffering. We are not seeing what is going on. But we are putting measures in place. We've been, fuel has been in existence since this happened, but you go to our neighboring countries and they are suffering from the same problem that we are. Bloomberg is saying that we are going to face in the future or very soon. I don't know about the Bank of Ghana rationing the funding or the dollar, But I believe that Addison is doing a good job there. He's managing the situation as he should. He's a man of international repute. So far, we've seen what he's done. It's just unfortunate that in these last few years, things haven't been as we planned when we are coming into government. But I can say for sure that whatever the situation, we're going to manage and manage it well. We're going to make sure that fuel is available. We're going to make sure that Ghanaians are not shortchanged for anything. And we're going to make sure that we'll turn the things or the tide around. It's not easy. It's not going to be a luxury situation. It's not going to be something that we can say that for sure, whether we like it or not, there's a situation, so take it as it is. But what we can tell you is that times are very, very difficult, but we'll turn things around.
How do
we
you intend to do
believe
so?
we've done it before. When we came in 2016, things were very, very, very bad and very rough. But we didn't let Ghanaians know. Nana, the president, told Ghanaians that, listen, I'm not here to complain. I'm not here to come and tell you that A did this, A did that, A did this, A did that. And that is why you realize that his focus was not on prosecution, but his focus was to turn the system around, which we did gradually. We did gradually till COVID set in, then everything went haywire. We had to manage and manage and manage and manage because you realize that everywhere, every economy was going haywire due to the COVID situation. As we speak now, look at inflation in America. Look at the world over. The world order, everywhere, everybody is complaining. Then immediately you finish, or you are just about to finish with COVID because it's not gone. Right now we hear the fourth one is the monkeypox or whatever it is. It's still there. So it tells you that COVID is still ongoing. Whilst the Russian-Ukraine also comes in to come and cause more problems and more stay. It's been a rough time. It's only a good president, a president who can take the tide as it comes, who can manage such a situation. Because I'm wondering, if it were to be the other side, what it would have been. We saw it when even there was no international crisis, how things went. How much more when there are these crises? It would have been seriously a chaotic country. But we've managed the situation. We've told our people not to give up. We've given them the hope that they need to hear.
Which people are those? You mean Ghanaians?
Ghanaians.
You don't think that at this point, Ghanaians are disappointed in what is happening? Especially because just last week, fuel went up again. We're buying petrol for 11 cedis and above. We're buying diesel for 13 cedis and above. We're told that it could even go higher than that by the end of the year. Now, there have been concerns about some taxes that you're supposed to be taking off, or at least people are asking government to take off, fuel, so that you can cushion the regular Ghanaian. Because at this point, if we're being told that there's going to be a fuel crisis looming, at the end of the day, it's the regular Ghanaian who is going to bear the brunt of this. Are they ready for this? I'm not sure. What is government doing about it?
As you see here, you drive to work every day, don't you? Would you prefer to pay a little bit more to get fuel, or you prefer to join the queue and not come to work?
Why are you asking me that? Explain.
Because at the moment, government is doing everything possible. If it means you have to even pay more to get the oil, the fuel, for the people to use, it's better to do that.
But you're not paying more.
I'm coming. It's better to do that than to go into a crisis situation where we won't get the fuel and people will be queuing and people will be walking. Because it will get to a situation, what is happening in Nigeria, our neighboring country, Nigeria now. There was one fuel station where we were driving out because we went to the mart to buy something, where a driver was forcing to hit the gate and drive in. And they were telling him that there was no fuel. There was no car there, actually. And we realized there was no fuel there, but he was forcing to come in. And I was asking, but what is wrong with this guy? He's going in to go and do what? Because they don't have fuel. Who is going to even attend to you? But we are in a situation where the fuel is there, but the prices are a little bit more than the usual that we were paying previously. I prefer that let me get the fuel. I'll try and look for the funding to buy and move around and go to work than to rather sit at home and say that there's no fuel. Let me walk to work, or I have to skip work today. So let us look at the situation and see which is better. Government is putting in every effort to make sure that the system flows.
Are we already not at that point? Because every time there's going to be a fuel increase, when you go to some of these fuel stations, they tell you there's no fuel.
Because they want to increase their prices.
Exactly. So sometimes a day, 2 days, you can't even buy fuel from them. They'll tell you they don't have it. But we know that hoarding is a crime.
Yes, but we know there's fuel in the system. Once the person is caught, you'll be prosecuted. Once the person is caught, you'll be prosecuted. But for now, we are making sure that what they need to get, they are getting, so that the public can be saved. Otherwise, we'll sit down, we'll fold our hands that our previous predecessors, and we'll say that, listen, there's no fuel. Crises are in, crises are looming. We can't do what we can't, or we can't go out of the box to think and make sure that Ghanaians are okay. And we would go into the crisis that the other countries are facing. Other countries are, America was queuing for fuel some time back. You know that? Or you didn't see?
Make your point.
They were also queuing.
America.
So yes, they were queuing for fuel some time back. UK.
Which part of America was that?
UK was queuing. You know that?
Where in the UK?
Oh, my brother,
When?
don't act
When?
as if. About
When?
2 months back.
They were queuing for fuel in the
Yes.
UK.
They were rationing.
Wow.
Americans and parts, they were rationing fuel.
America
They were
was
rationing.
fuel.
Yes, they were rationing. And isn't
Wow.
it part of the
Where
distance?
exactly?
Where?
Because if
I'll
you're
get
saying
the details
America,
for
you're
you.
saying
I'll get the
the
details for
UK.
you.
Can you give us those
I'll get the
details?
details for you.
MPP.
They were
let's
rationing is
not-
different from
But
queuing.
if you are rationing, it's
There's-
more
there's-
like,
there's
listen,
no
I'll give
fuel
you
rationing
2
in the
out of
West.
5 gallons.
Okay.
I'll give you 2 out of 5 gallons. So let us not act as if Ghana is in isolation.
But
He knows
don't
and
we
we
have...
know. You see,
knows?
I don't
know.
like this your propaganda
I
when
don't
it comes to
know.
running
Hold
an
on.
economy.
But don't we have that opportunity of refining crude oil? Did we not?
We are not there yet.
Why are we not there yet? Tor.
We are not there.
Can we not bring back Tor to start operating? Now let's look
It's
at
being worked on.
let's look at
It's
our
being worked
import
on.
bill for Ghana. At the moment, we're told that it is at $450 million US.
Yeah.
As at May 2022.
Yeah.
In January, it was
It was
250 million US dollars. Now, don't you think that if we were processing our own crude as well, maybe this bill would have come down and we can generate our own for the local consumers as well, and it will not then affect the fuel price increase?
Previously, when we discovered the oil and we were putting things in place, we didn't get to the situation where we would tell them that, listen, 50% should be processed here. Maybe like these are the measures we should have put in place, but they were not put in place. So at the present situation, all we are making sure is that we will not face fuel shortages, and we are working towards that. We are not saying that it's going to be a rosy situation, but we are making sure that there will not be the situation where people will queue for fuel, people will not get fuel to buy and will not go to work, because it reduces productivity. When you are going to, instead of sitting at work and making sure that we are getting, we are bringing out the best out of you, we are rather in a fuel station queuing, having long queues, where some situations you might even walk to work and everything. So we are looking at a situation where we don't want the country to get to that
Are we
place.
not getting there already? Bank of Ghana is already rationing
we
our
haven't
dollars.
gotten
Now we're told
there.
that we can
We
only
haven't gotten
give
there,
about
and
100 million Ghana cedis, or
we-
dollars actually, to buy or import fuel. That's against that $450 million that we're supposed to be spending. Clearly, our city is weak, which is why we're even, reducing how much we're offering, which is about 100 million. So are we not there yet?
Bella, we are not there and we will not get there. I believe that we will not get there because I believe in the leadership of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. He's shown us that, listen, where there's even that situation where we could even throw our hands up and say that, listen, at this particular point in time where we've gotten to, things are not going the way we expect it to go. He even managed the situation, gave us that hope, and led us through it. And I'm telling you that he's going to do it again, because when you look at the situation, the process that he's taken us through so far, it tells you that this is a man who has a clear sense of direction and he has a clear path he's taken. And he's not going to sit down for anything to go on towards us.
Your city is weak.
It's weak at the moment.
It is weak.
but
You are buying in
listen,
dollars, whether you like it or not.
We always will buy in dollars. Whether your CD is strong or not, we always will buy in dollars. We will. You can't buy your crude in this thing, in CD. So it comes back to the same
This week you'll
situation.
spend more, and that's where the problem is.
You spend more, but you still buy. At the moment, let's try and, you see, we are managing an economy
Alfred, are you
where
not done? You're talking too much.
we are
Let him land, don't worry,
we are
you come
managing
in.
an economy where things are not as it used to be. Where even when we were inheriting it, it was in a dire situation, it was in a dead situation. But we brought it up. We got to a level and it started going down because of international crisis. I am telling you for sure that even where we've gotten to, we are not going to fall. We are going to rise. And we are going to do it together.
Chamber of Bulk Oil
will
Distributors
do it
have said
together.
that they only have supply that should last for a month.
Before
And
the
with
month,
the issue about CD depreciation, if we don't
before
take care,
the
it will
month
be difficult
should
for them
end.
to even buy from the suppliers because our CD is weak.
before the month should end, they would get enough.
I see. George, come in.
Bella, let me say good morning to your viewers, and let me start my submission with a quote from His Excellency President Mahama, that if you've not been in government before, be careful how you criticize.
That's not how he said it.
That is how he puts it.
That is not how he said
Put
it.
it whichever way you
Say
want.
it the way he said it. That
Is that
you
if
are
you've
not
not
a
been there-
president,
as in you've
so
not
you
been there
cannot
yet, so don't
criticize
criticize
me.
me.
He said you are not a president, so
Okay.
you cannot criticize me. Say it as he said it.
Okay.
Don't come
Today.
and twist it.
Today, the NPP is making all the excuses. Bella, why are we here? The answer is simple: mismanagement.
No.
When you're talking, I will say, please keep quiet. And
Please
let me
allow
finish.
him.
Let me finish
Alfred,
my
please.
My
sentence.
brother, he understands.
Why
that.
are we here? Mismanagement. Why is the Bank of Ghana giving out only $100 million every month? You know why? Because when the city started struggling, consistently they were pushing in so much dollars onto the market. We warned them and we told them that it is not sustainable. It is not the way to go. We have almost exhausted all our reserves in dollars currently from the Bank of Ghana. He's a banker. You can't tell me I'm lying. So what the Bank of Ghana has is what they put in. And that is how come they can only make $100 million available. What is the second reason? The second reason is because we have not managed our currency very well. What we were doing was cosmetic management of the economy. We were pushing in more dollars to shore up the city, which was not sustainable, and it was not something that could survive the long term. It was a very short-term remedy that they were adopting. They did that for some time. So then Baumia will come and tell you, I have locked the city, I have given the keys to the IGP, knowing very well that they had not put in place prudent management measures that will sustain the currency. Now the currency has gone haywire. They cannot control it. They don't have enough dollars to shore up the currency. So that is where we are today. That is how come every month they can only make 100 million available. We were importing 250 million. The amount of barrels that we are bringing in has not changed. So if we're bringing in 100,000 barrels, nothing has changed though. Fuel prices may have gone up internationally. So yes, there may be, but it has not gone up more than 20 to 30%. So where is the difference coming from? If we're doing 250 million 2 months ago, and now we are doing 450 million, you know what it simply means? Almost $200 million more. If you were buying a vehicle 5 months ago for, let's say, $10,000, if you had done the conversion 5 months ago, that was about 69,000 Ghana cedis. Today, $10,000 is 82,000 Ghana cedis. Well, that is where the problem lies. They have failed in managing the economy. They've been lying to us consistently, and they've told the Ghanaian people that, oh, the economy was on sound footing, when clearly, in 2019, the World Bank country director told us that the economy had failed. So this is where we find ourselves. Instead of them being magnanimous enough to come out and tell us that, listen, we have failed. What is the way forward? When we went through such difficulties, and you know what the NPP doesn't realize? Between 2014 and 2015, there was not any COVID. There was no Russian-Ukraine war. But the commodities market suffered. And it was the worst in the history of the world. Between 2014 and 2015, the prices of gold fell drastically. The prices of cocoa fell drastically. And oil prices fell below what the world expected. These were the three commodities Ghana was exporting, and these were our biggest earners. So our revenue brackets, we're looking at cocoa, we're looking at gold, and we're looking at oil. In 2015, if you recall, the finance minister had to go to parliament twice. You know why? Because our projections for revenue, and if you ask anybody who understands basic economics, he'll tell you that what we suffered in 2015 is worse than what COVID brought onto us and what Ukraine and Russia is doing to us. You know why? Ukraine, Russia is global. COVID was global. So the world had shocks in place. And so if I am being affected by Ukraine, Russia, Germany is being affected, Burkina Faso is being affected, everybody is suffering it. But when your commodities market, especially when you're a third world country, that solely depends on exports to support your economy. This is where the problem lies. And that is what we suffered from in 2014, 2015. But in 2016, if my brother here will be very honest, the economy had started recovering. Inflation was on a downward stand. The last statement in State of the Nation address President Mahama gave, he made all these things very clear and said that by 2017, the economy would have taken off. Aside that, we also had issues with energy. For over 30-something years, successive governments had not done much in respect to shoring up our energy demands. And we all know that electricity drives every developing economy or every economy. So we had challenges. But what did President Mahama do? We fixed all this, put the economy back on sound footing.
Wow.
And
They said they took an economy that was very
it's not true. It's not true. It's not true. Look at inflation figures in 2014, 2015, and 2016. Clearly gives you an indication that the economy was recovering. Look at growth rates. Yes, it was recovering. Look at growth rates in 2013, 2014, 2015, and 2016. Systematically, we're progressing. So it was not an economy that was going down. What they refused to tell you is that when they came, every government leaves liabilities. And every government leaves assets. We left them more assets than liabilities, if they'll be honest with you. How much did they meet in the stabilization fund? How much did they meet in the sinking fund? These are things they don't tell you. But when COVID came, the first 200 million government depended on, where did he get it from? Was it not from the stabilization fund? And Bella, what we don't also tell Ghanaians, and we've not done very well, is that at the time we were in government, we had only one oil well. We only had Jubilee Fields. They inherited 2 additional oil wells, making it 3. No government has been as fortunate as Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. The amount of revenue that he has gotten, no government, and you can check the figures, no government has gotten that level of revenues. Now he talks about Tor not working. When the Wada Akun was managing Tor and Bost, was Tor not turned around? What happened when they took over? Was Tor not bringing in oil? Was Bost not bringing in oil and Tor refining them? Crude. Were they not bringing it and refining them? What happened? Mismanagement. Is it clearly these guys don't know what they are about? They don't have
How do you say that?
They don't know what they are about. They don't have their priorities right. What they were doing, when we told them that what they were doing was not sustainable, when Addison was pushing in dollars every day onto the market and was deceiving, you see, Bella, you can lie for a certain level of time, for a certain number of days. At a point in time, your lies will expose you. When Baumia was giving economic lectures all around the world and telling us that if the fundamentals were weak, the exchange rates will expose you. This same Mahmoud Baumia turns around and goes and says that now when the exchange rate is going up, it is not because the fundamentals are weak. Bella, at this stage, and if Alfred here will be honest, the fundamentals are not just weak, it's beyond repairs. And that is where we find ourselves. What they have done is that currently the Bank of Ghana doesn't have any reserves in dollars. So
None at all.
They told you.
Is that what they told you? That they don't have any reserves in dollars?
Bella, if they had, I'm coming. If they had reserves, they will not be giving out 100 million. When clearly you know that it is because of the mismanagement that the economy has suffered. Clearly you know that it is because of what you have done. That is how come BDCs and oil marketing companies now have to compete within the black market to buy the currency. Where are the dollars? Where is the dollars?
But, I mean, the Bank of Ghana's summary statements on reserves alone did indicate that we do have the reserves, except that we're eating into it, which is why they had rationed the dollars. So it's not as if we have depleted.
I'm coming.
We have depleted because,
Bella, the law,
just to be sure,
Bella, the law requires that a certain level of reserves should be maintained at all times. As we speak now, they've exceeded that. And you can find out from the Bank of Ghana. I don't have the exact figures, but we know they have exceeded that. They have gone beyond what the law requires them to have. I am telling you that at a point in time, they were pumping in about $5 million a day into the local market to shore up the currency. About a year and a half ago, when the currency started depreciating, and people who understand economics, people who understand forex trading, were telling them that Addison and Co., this is not sustainable. And that is where we find ourselves today. If what they did it right, we will not be where we are. Bella, the world is going today. What is the price of fuel in Burkina Faso? He's quick to tell you that there is fuel shortage in Nigeria. Is there fuel shortage in Togo? Is there fuel shortage in Cote d'Ivoire? These are our neighbors we should be comparing ourselves to. What is inflation rate today in Ghana? What is the inflation rate in Togo? Even Liberia. So let's compare ourselves to our brothers. What is even the inflation rate in the same Nigeria he's quoting? There's been a mismanagement of the economy. And Bella, I have said time without number. But the biggest problem that confronts us as a country, there are only 3 people. The first is Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the president. The second is Ken Ofori-Atta. And the third is Mahmoud Bawumia and his words. Ken Ofori-Atta is our biggest problem.
He's expected to answer questions.
I'm coming to
today
that.
In Parliament.
You see, if you have a finance minister whose only understanding of finance is to borrow, then you have a problem. His only understanding of managing the economy is to borrow. Then you have a problem. Because, Bella, there are other innovative ways of managing this Ghanaian economy without resort.
Like what?
The extractive industry. Bella, I saw a presentation by the IFS, Dr. Dufour's IFS, on how we can recover. If you recall, in 2009, when President Mills was president and President Mama was the leader of the economic management team, what did we do when we came and we were facing economic challenges? Very simple. We taxed local enterprises that were doing well, the multinationals like the telcos, the companies that repatriate a lot of their profits out of Africa. Then the finance minister had a bank. Banks were part, insurance companies were part, telcos, and then the breweries. They were all to pay 5% after all the taxes they've paid on their profits that they were going to repatriate. And we used that to sustain the economy until such a time that we recovered. That law is still there. That vehicle is still available. If they were smart and innovative and were not full of themselves and were team players, they could have resorted to some of these processes to help support the economy.
So what are you saying? That you're not expecting much from the finance minister and his response to the questions that have been raised? But
Bella, really. If you have 12 different taxes on petroleum products, and you've gone to use ESLA. ESLA was supposed to have been for 5 years. These were the same people who even went to court when we were passing the ESLA bill. The same group of people. ESLA was supposed to have been for 5 years. We've exceeded the 5 years. Now they've not just extended ESLA's reign, they have mortgaged ESLA for until 2030. Tell me I'm lying. The same group of people. Oh. So when we are crying about prices of fuel, it is not because fuel is not on the market, though. It is not because you should pay more so you don't go and queue. That is not what the issues are. The issues are that they cannot reduce it because of the taxes. 12 different taxes. If I run you through the taxes, you realize that most of them are nuisance taxes.
We're told that if they even take some of them off, we could lose about 4 billion Ghana cedis, and we cannot afford that at the moment.
In terms of revenue. You know why they cannot take most of them off? Because ESLA, as it stands today, they've used ESLA as a loan, as a mortgage. So they've gone for a loan, and ESLA is a mortgage. And so they must service that loan. They must service that debt.
And that's why they are not.
That is why they cannot reduce it. So if they are going to reduce the other taxes, then there's going to be a deficit. And they cannot service the debt on ESLA. And that is where we are. Every statutory fund that we have under this government, that fund has been mortgaged. ESLA has been mortgaged. As we speak now, the e-levy that we fought on, we led demonstrations on. As I speak to you today, there is a bill, they are preparing a bill to go and mortgage the e-levy as well.
They're preparing a bill?
Yeah.
You have details of
that?
Oh,
ESLA. But they themselves, did I call you ESLA?
You just called me ESLA.
Forgive me. Now you are calling ESLA. You see, as we speak today, they are preparing to go and mortgage it. But the finance minister has even hinted to it already that we shouldn't be surprised if they go and also mortgage the e-levy. They have failed. All they do is let's borrow. No practical solutions to the problems that are confronting us. And that is where we sit. I would urge Mahmoud Bawumia, based on the many promises he made in opposition, and the current, not too long ago, the lecture he gave at Kaswa, that he should come down from his high horse and come down to reality. That he, as the leader of the economic management team, that solid economic management team today is a liquid management team. It's just like this water here. They should sit down and have what we did when we were having crisis, like the Senchi, when we went to Senchi, and bring on board everybody. There is nothing wrong when you are failing, and then you call on your countrymen or your kinsmen that come and let's see how we can practically solve these problems.
Okay.
Ideas are available. Ken Ofori-Atta is not the man to take Ghana out. He's the one who has led us into this mess. And he cannot take us out.
Let me bring Alfred in to respond to some of the issues that you have raised. And of course, the concern about the finance minister responding to these questions in Parliament. Can we guarantee that whatever he's going to give us in Parliament would actually be the reality on the ground, the judicious use of public funds to address some of these challenges?
Bella, before I quickly come to you, I want us to state on record that Bloomberg is saying that the U.S. East Coast fuel is going to have crisis. They are not just talking about Ghana, they are talking about the world over.
Bella, we don't care about the world. We care about Ghana.
Everything that affects,
we care about Ghana.
Let him land, please.
Everything that affects the world affects Ghana as well. And that is why when we started, we told you about how COVID took us from a good running economy to what we are in now. And I told you that...
No COVID. Go on.
I want you to finish. Then
but in 2019, there was no COVID.
When you
in 2019, there was no COVID. But the economy was going down in 2019.
I'm going to give you the details. I'm going to give you the statistics. Don't worry. I've gotten all the statistics here, and I'm going to give it to you.
Sent it to you.
Oh, I'll give you, because I asked for certain documents. I use everything from my
But he
phone.
also works in the finance
I asked for certain documents. So I'll call for certain details. And I've showed Bella some of the details from UK, where fuel crisis, we're in. Didn't you see it?
Carry on.
You see, so it tells you that it's a U.S. East Coast fuel crisis depends ahead of the season. It goes at the end of it, it tells you how, even at the moment, the U.S. gallon future settled at a fresh record of $4.19 a gallon as at Thursday. Then you ask about the UK crisis. When you go to the business view, September 25th, 2021, it says UK fuel shortages worsens as industry chief warns that people will go without fuel. So he was telling them that it was going to get better, but it will get worse before it becomes better. And around all this time, when in September 2021, in UK they were queuing for fuel and they were rationing fuel and everything, Ghana was still supplying fuel. It tells you that we had put things in place. The finance minister and his team had everything set out that we are not going on that path of where there will be shortages. And that's why I'm telling you that I can tell you on record that I believe and have worked so much so with the president and his team. I was working directly under Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta, the finance minister, and I know how he works. You would think he's a very quiet person. He doesn't talk much. He doesn't like talking, but he likes action. And I can tell you that before the 1 month of the BDCs, their complaint, before it even gets there, there'll be so much fuel that they might not even have anything to say. It's a gradual process. Whilst people, our opposition people are shouting and are not bringing any solution and are just jumping around the whole world, saying that, things are as worse as it should be, we will let them know that we are not going to sit down and make sure that things go as they want. Okay. Now, he was talking plenty and talking about, they having, commodities crisis, and they were running the economy better. Go to the GDP figures. Seriously, go and see how we're growing. Even in 2017, at 8.13%. Whilst they were reducing in 2015, they were at 2.12% growth rate. You look at the GDP, 2015 for $47 billion, whilst we, 2017 we are at 58 billion. So it tells you how gradually we have grown the economy, how the economy has moved from a weakened situation into a good situation, but due to international crisis, and we cannot hide from it, because Ghana is not an island. And even if we are an island, you would move out to get things and bring it onto the island. So they should not act and behave like the cowards we know and shout and sit back and say, hey, they are not running it well, they've run the economy down, they haven't done this, they haven't done that, and give us situations you are not able to talk. He was sitting down right now telling us that Addison had told him that we've run out our reserves.
No. But I did
And
quote
now,
that.
when you were asking him, he couldn't say that, yes, Addison told you, once you are rationing, or when you are running, when you are managing.
No.
Why-
He was just saying that
when I say Addison, Addison is
it
Bank
wasn't
of
about
Ghana.
I didn't say
Addison.
Addison is Bank of Ghana. Addison is
about
Bank of Ghana.
Addison.
Isn't Addison Bank of
It's
Ghana?
Addison
but
Bank
it
of
wasn't
Ghana.
Yes.
It's the Bank of Ghana.
He
for
is
Addison.
running. He's in charge.
He's in charge. I hear you.
Who is Ghana now? When you're talking about Ghana,
Can we trust
Let me
in what the finance minister
Let me
would
come
say
back
in
to my.
Parliament?
Let me
Quickly
come
on
back
that
to track,
so that
please.
okay,
You
we
see,
can take a break.
when we are talking, and you have your facts and figures, they become scared.
Facts and figures. Scared about what?
George, hold on, let him land.
Go on,
George.
go on.
you
Alfred,
see,
please carry on.
This shows how
we need to
scared
go on a
you are.
break, so I want
Because
you to
he
land
don't
what we do.
He doesn't want us to come out with the facts. That
Okay.
Ghana under President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, under Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, under Ken Ofori-Atta, has been run far better
Has failed.
than
Okay.
even the 20 years
failed.
of the pro
failed.
NDC.
We'll come back to that question of the finance
system.
minister responding quickly, and of course we'll get George's point on
So,
this
I shouldn't
matter as well.
finish
Hold
up.
on, we're
Yeah, I want
taking a
to go on
break,
break.
Yeah,
and we'll
yeah,
go on the cathedral as well. And so please keep watching. We will be right back. All right, welcome back. This is still TV3Newday's The Big Issue. In the studios, I have Mr. Alfred Thompson. He's a former Deputy MD for the National Investment Bank. And also lawyer George Opare-Addo is currently the National Youth Organizer of the NDC. Alfred, I just wanted you to land on what you were talking about. I'll bring in the issue of the UK briefly because reading about it, it says that even though there was fuel shortage, it wasn't necessarily because of mismanagement at any point.
But have you said that
But
was mismanagement?
let me just read what it says. So it says that long lines of people at
land.
gas stations anxiously waiting to fill up their cars has become an unnerving reality in the United Kingdom in recent days. And that is because of the lack of heavy-duty drivers who were striking at that point.
But it created fuel shortage.
It did create fuel shortage, but
What
then
is creating the fuel shortage now across the globe?
what is it? You tell me.
It's the Ukraine war.
So how do you relate that to...
I'm giving you an example that fuel shortage can happen anywhere.
In what country is there? fuel
Anywhere,
shortage?
even in the developed countries, it can happen. So if we've been able to manage our situation till now, it tells us that this is good and prudent management of scarce resources that someone told us that
Land on
in
your
reality
point
is
so that
telling
we
us
can
that
move to George.
the goodness of the economy, the growth of the economy, we've chopped everything. We've finished and milked the country that is left with the bones. But we still managed to put flesh on that bone that the man chopped under under his own president, Mahama. They chopped it and he said it. So coming back to the Bloomberg report.
Who said it?
Alfred, carry on.
Lawyer.
Go on.
He had the same
make a
name-
point, make
he
a
has the
point.
same name as me, so I don't want to bash him. Otherwise, I'll give him all the details you proposed and you forgot it.
Go on. Go on.
Oh, are you called George?
Yeah,
Oh, I
George
see.
Kojo Thompson.
Okay, carry
Oh,
on.
you don't- you
I didn't
didn't
know
know.
that. Carry on.
You don't know
There are so
him as
many
Alfred.
things.
I know,
There are so
right?
many things you don't know. Oh, you didn't know I was George?
No.
Okay, I'm
I would
George.
have been lenient with you.
So now would you be a bit more lenient?
Oh, no.
Alfred, make a
So
point.
coming back to the report, it's telling us that, listen, all that is going on, it's not just Ghana that is going to face fuel shortages. US would, other countries would, because of what is going on at the moment.
Okay.
So let us not isolate it to Ghana alone. And I'm telling you that before the one man gets there, I know, and I can say for sure, that we'll put every measure in because we've done it before.
Okay.
We can do it, and we'll still do it. And that is why we are telling Ghanaians that let us not go to the dark days of where, even where there was no issue, NDC created an issue out of it to make monetary capital out of it.
Will the finance minister make an appearance in Parliament today?
They've given him the questions. He says, give me how many, 16 or so questions.
Yeah.
And they are very, 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 very salient questions. He needs to check his records because he doesn't want a situation where someone has said A and he will say B. So he has his answers there. He will check with what others said. You have to make sure that what they said, why did they say A or B as against my answer before he comes to Parliament? Because Parliament is a body that you don't just go there and say things and walk away.
Okay.
It's going to be on record.
So he's not
he
ready?
needs- I don't know.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that he needs to put his acts right before he gets there. But definitely, he will meet Parliament and tell them what he has to tell them.
Okay.
No, he's not scared about answering anything.
No problem.
He knows what he's about. He's a focused person. I've told you, the people who are quiet and they listen a lot, they act more than those who talk plenty
All right.
And they
Why are you pointing at George when you're saying those who talk plenty? Let George come in anyway.
Mahama talk plenty and give us nothing.
George, land on this for me so we can move on to the cathedral.
Quick. Let's establish the fact that we are paying more for fuel because of one mismanagement of the economy.
That's not true.
It's pure and simple.
Not true.
There is no fuel shortage anywhere in this world. Fuel prices have gone high, but it doesn't mean there is a shortage.
There isn't?
No. Where is the shortage?
But as at May 2021, it says here the fuel shortage in the U.S. enters 6th day with long queues, fistfights, and rising tensions.
I'm coming. Is the U.S. the whole world? What accounted for?
But is it not a significant example?
What accounted to the queues at the pumps in the UK? Was it not because of a strike action?
No, I'm now talking about the U.S.
The U.S. What is the reason why there is a shortage?
They'll come out at the right time.
What is the reason? You should tell us what the reason is. We cannot take it just like that. What I'm saying is that around the world, there is no fuel shortage.
It was sparked by a cyber attack, by the way.
Exactly. Cyber attack. It is not that fuel is not available. What we are likely to encounter in Ghana is because there is not enough dollars to go and buy fuel. That is all. And that is because there is mismanagement on the part of this incompetent, dishonest, and useless administration.
No, I'm sorry, but you can't say useless.
Oh, I'm coming.
Let's show each other respect. I don't think that you'd be happy if they say useless. So please, take that word back.
Bella, with all due respect, look at the definition of what useless is. We called President Mahama's government incompetent. We accepted it. When this bottle is of no use to me, what would you say it is? The government is not serving its useful purpose. It has become useless to the ordinary Ghanaian. When the government is not fixing...
harsh, which is why I'm saying
Bella, look at the definition of the word.
That is not as harsh.
We have been very charitable with this NPP administration.
Sir?
We called a certain president. People like Samira Baumia could call President Mahama incompetent, and we all accepted it and said that incompetent was not an insult. If incompetent is not an insult, when this bottle is of no use to me, how would I put it? It is not useful. In other words, it is useless. The government is not serving the purpose we elected it to serve. It has become useless to the people of Ghana. How does that become an insult? But we are quick to say that, oh no, because it is the NPP.
We're not saying because of the NPP. If they use useless on you, it's the same reaction that I would give.
Awake bottle, this bottle of water today, if it is not serving any purpose to me,
land on your point for me so we can.
So it is because of their mismanagement. That is how come Bloomberg is predicting doom for our economy.
Okay.
Not for
the other issue I will want to touch on, and I want to be very simple. President Akufo-Addo took office in 2017. In February 2017, you can Google Osafoma for the then senior minister. He said President Mahama left a strong foundation for the economy. You know the difficulty these guys are going through. We left them the stabilization fund. We left them the Exim Bank. What has happened to Exim Bank? What has happened to Exim?
Okay.
And the last thing is that in the last 5 years or 6 years, they have not made any significant investment in the economy. That is why we are struggling. If not for anything, we gave them 2 additional oil wells. So clearly, the economy should not be where it is today. It is because they have not managed properly. That is why we sit where we sit.
All right. Let's move on now and talk about the National Cathedral. That has also come under fire. Government has come under fire.
There is nothing quick. Let's go to Cathedral.
Is saying that
he's running away from Cathedral.
He's going to face fuel crisis. Is it due to mismanagement?
Well, I haven't read that, so I wouldn't know. Let's move on.
Tell her, he's running away from Cathedral.
You were reading the Bloomberg report. It's the whole report you should look at. And I'm telling you that they are talking about the U.S. East Coast fuel crisis that will deepen us.
That was cyber attack. Another East Coast. What?
When you're talking,
what I have here did not.
I tell him
the
that.
Bloomberg report I have here did not touch on the U.S. They only touched on Ghana and the fuel shortage that looms. So that's what I'm saying, that I haven't read that, so I cannot.
Google it right now.
Let's move on. We don't have time.
But Bella,
let's move on. Let's talk about the cathedral.
The cathedral, I'll talk about it.
But they did a whole article on Ghana, so you cannot say I'm the one who's doing that.
2 seconds to finish.
He's running away from Cathedral. Bella,
what I'm saying is,
let him go on to the Cathedral.
Let's move on now.
Let's move on.
Because if you make this statement, he has to respond, and that will also drag the time. No, but just to be fair, he also has to respond. So please, let's move on. Now, unfortunately, let's move on, gentlemen. Let's talk about the National Cathedral at this point, and the fact that there have been some concerns about whether it was registered as a private entity or as a public entity. And we saw some documents that Honorable Okujeto Ablakwa, the MP for North Tongue, put out indicating that it had been registered as a private entity. Now, the Secretariat has responded to whether or not it is a private or publicly owned company. And I'll just read a bit of what it says. And it says that on 29th of July 2021, a letter from the Secretariat of the National Cathedral, signed by me, the president of the Secretariat, says, or the chairman of the Secretariat, says that it was sent to the Attorney General to seek clarity on the legal status of the National Cathedral. This was a follow-up to the advice of the Attorney General that the most effective framework for operationalizing the partnership envisaged by the president was to register the National Cathedral as a company limited by guarantee with the Museums and Monuments Board, a government agency, as the sponsoring agency. In response to my letter, the Attorney General, in a letter dated 6 January 2022, provided his legal opinion, which I reproduce extensively. It is quite long, but it explains that it is noted that on the 18th of July, the National Cathedral of Ghana was incorporated under the Companies Act 1963, Act 179, as a company limited by guarantee. Now, the National Cathedral of Ghana is therefore a company limited by guarantee, with its sole corporate member being the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board, a government agency. And by its registration documents, the principal activities of the National Cathedral of Ghana are to own the assets of the National Cathedral of Ghana, to administer the National Cathedral of Ghana, to serve as a convenient platform for national conversations on faith, and to operate an interdenominational church for national purposes. So it is clear from the above listed activities of the National Cathedral of Ghana that it is a non-profit making organization. And since the sole member is a government agency, the National Cathedral of Ghana is a state-owned non-profit making organization. And any income that is generated and income and property acquired by the National Cathedral are thus required to be reinvested and used for promoting its non-profit activities. So indirectly, it's trying to explain exactly why it was even registered as a private entity, and of course, clearly showing that it is not a private entity per se. George?
Ella, I've had difficulties commenting on the cathedral. My faith supports any group that decides that they want to build a church. Let me put it that way. I have remained very quiet on the issues of the cathedral. But it has become necessary for all of us to comment on it. Not because I am against Ghana putting up a cathedral, but the circumstances under which we are building this cathedral. I am sure even God himself will not be happy. Bella, at this stage in our life as a country, with the many challenges that confront us, when the average Ghanaian cannot feed even a day's meal, 1 meal a day has become a challenge that confronts many, many people. When salaries of national service personnel, not even salaries, allowances of 550 Ghana, 700 cedis is in arrears for many months. When salaries for municipal and district chief executives who have been in office for over 10, 12 months are not being paid. When school feeding, ordinary food for our children in our basic schools is a challenge. When capitation for over 3 terms have not been paid to run our basic schools. When textbooks are not even available for our basic schools over 3.5 years since we changed the curriculum. And then I am told that government has expended over 200 million on a cathedral. I ask myself, will God even be happy with us? Because you see, God encourages us to help each other. And I'm not sure God will be happy to see children go hungry in school. And instead of them being fed, that money is being put into a cathedral. God will not forgive us. Every government that has its head screwed on properly and understands the tenets of good governance will not expend 200 million Ghana cedis on a venture that will not serve the greater good of the people. 2, the level of secrecy that has surrounded this cathedral leaves much to be desired. You see, Bella, if you are doing something and you are not hiding, and there is transparency and everybody is happy, this is what we have done. This is what we are doing. I am not sure to generate any controversy. When the cathedral started, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo told us that it is his personal pledge to God. Bella, I have a covenant with God, though. I have made my pledges with God. So I come and sit on TV3 one morning, and then you are running a promotion or you are soliciting for funds for a charity. Then I decide that I am going to support. Then I leave here and I go and tell the NDC that because I have made a pledge to TV3, the NDC, because I serve as national youth organizer, should give me money to go and support the charity. Am I okay?
But this is a national cathedral.
Bella. They built the national mosque. They didn't resort to public funding.
But government did not build the mosque.
Bella.
It was privately funded.
Bella, do we have a national mosque today in Ghana? Do we? Yes, we do.
We have a mosque.
We have a national mosque.
But it was privately funded.
So you see, if government wanted to do private funding for the cathedral, under no circumstances, if you had come to us, and when they started, what did they tell us? They were not going to depend on public funds. The only contribution the state was going to make was the state land. Was that not what they told us?
No.
Yes, that is what they told us.
No.
So even that, even the lands they used, Achimota Forest that Sir John and his family is sharing, what stopped them from resorting to the eco part, that part that was demarcated for the eco part? What stopped them from even resorting to it? The properties that were broken down. Bella, have you bought cement in the last 1 month? Have you bought cement?
Make your point.
It is about 65 Ghana cedis a bag today. Property buildings that had been put up for appeals called judges. Within 4 or 5 years, will have to be pulled down. And so now government is spending close to 50 million every year renting new properties for these judges. You can't understand. I still can't understand how any prudent government will come to this conclusion that let me pull down buildings that have not done 5 years on earth. Buildings that have just been put up, newly furnished buildings. Let me pull them down and set aside up for a national cathedral. When we have lands all over, government has state lands all over this country, that we could have located this cathedral anywhere without recourse to that expenditure that we incurred pulling down those buildings. And the sad aspect is the amount of money that has been paid, and even the award of contracts to Sir David Ajayi, and the circumstances under which the contract was awarded. The sole sourcing. Bella, there is too much rot in the house of the Lord. And I cannot understand how any reasonable Ghanaian who has Ghana at heart will want to defend such a mess.
Alfred, respond to all of this.
Which one?
Everything that he has said, and of course the issue about the fact that it was registered as a private entity, the Secretariat has responded to it.
Bella, I'll give you this. A company in Ghana can be registered under 4 different headings. 1, a company limited by shares. 2, a company limited by guarantee. 3, an unlimited liability company. And 4, an external company. Then it comes to either a private company or a public company. When we talk about public company, we are talking about putting it on the stock exchange, doing certain things that a private company can do. So you can just choose one of those. Now, you can't go and put the cathedral under a public company because you are not going to put it on the stock exchange for people to buy shares into it and everything. It's under the Ghana government. Now, why did they put it under Monuments Board? Because of its purpose that it's supposed to serve. It's not only going to be used as a cathedral, but it's going to be used also as a tourist, like the museums and everything. And so the only sensible thing is to put it under the Monuments Board, which has full responsibility to make sure that we get some income from it that will be given to the Ghana government. NIB, when I was there, is a limited liability company. But we have the board of directors who are running it. When you are going to register a company, and he knows, he's a lawyer. You can't just go and say that, oh, I'm registering a company. This is Ghana government, so put this under it, and that is it. They have set rules and regulations, even which Okujeto was part of those who drafted it and accepted it in Parliament. So now for NDC to come and paint it as if putting it under a private company means that, oh, it's going to be in Nanado's pocket. Sometimes I phantom and I ask myself that, are these people for real? Come on. Why do they always want to create mud in everything that is being done? This plain, simple reading that they should do too is a problem for them. Ella, where are we sending this country to? That everything, anything good for this country should be run and divided into politics. How is it good
when we're spending taxpayers' money on something that we're told was supposed to be a private thing or a personal pledge?
It's not a private.
Or a personal pledge.
You see, when he was making the pledge, what did he say to God? He said that when you make me president, I will make sure I build a cathedral in your name.
I will build a cathedral in your name.
He didn't say that I'm going to use my money to build cathedral. He said when you make me president, he was president of Ghana.
But if you say I will build, is that not a personal pledge?
Let me explain something to you.
Okay.
When I tell you that when you make me the CEO of TV3, I'll make sure that God, every 1 hour I dedicate, a section for your prayers or something. Does it mean the TV3?
But if you're going to use the public funds to do that,
listen, because
should you not go for approval then? Because now if you're moving away from it being a personal pledge to use the public funds.
You have limited time. Let me explain it and explain it.
Okay,
well.
my time is up.
Yes, and that's why I want to explain it well to you once and for all, so that we kill. Please,
okay,
we
land
kill
on
this,
it for me so we can go.
He made a pledge to God that make me president, and I'll make sure that I build as a president. I built, and he's not going to take money from US, definitely from Ghana. As a president of Ghana, he is standing in the stead of the people to make this great thing.
Did he ask the people if that's what they needed at that time? You don't make a pledge to God and now burden the taxpayer.
Who are the people representing?
Did Ghanaians say they wanted a cathedral?
No, isn't it God they are representing?
Did Ghanaians say, or it was the president?
If God didn't want this for himself, he would have said that I'll make you president. If God didn't want it, he would have made sure that if God didn't want this to happen, he would have made sure that. So you think that just by the fact that he became president, it meant that God approved of the cathedral? But he has approved what he said. That I'll do for you.
I see.
I'll do it in your image. I'll do it to make sure that things happen. So why are we now shifting as
I see.
He said that finance minister can go and stand and say that if you make me
God
finance
is
minister,
happy with the fact that taxpayers' monies are being used to fund the building of the cathedral at a point when children are being fed with 97 pesos?
He said majority of the fund will come
at a point where NAPCO personnel have not been paid their owed some 7 months, some 14 months. You think God is okay with that?
Listen, Bella, let us not mix.
Okay, we have to go.
Let us not mix things like this.
I don't understand how God is okay with his people being hungry, and yet he's okay with us building a cathedral when his people are hungry, which is the question I'm asking you. But we have to go, unfortunately. We have to go, Alfred.
You ask questions that you want to try.
No, this is just my final point on this issue. Thank you so much. Mr. Alfred Thompson is a former Deputy MD for the National Investment Bank, and lawyer George Opariado, National Youth Organizer of the NDC. We have an exclusive with Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, founding member of the NPP. You don't want to miss that sit-down conversation he had with Johnny Hughes. There's sports and more right here on TV3Newday. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us. And big thank you to Sheila Bonsu for starting me. We'll be back with more.